Hi, welcome back to Create a WordPress Website. I'm Mary Kane with Blog Site Studio, and so far we have a new site installed and we've dressed it up in its new theme. At this point, it's important, I think, to install a few essential plugins. Now, you may wonder what exactly is a plugin. A plugin is a tiny app that adds extra functionality to your site, more than what WordPress offers right out of the box. A lot of the functionality that you see on websites are created by these different kinds of plugins. So we're going to start by uploading a few that are essential to start with. All right, here we are on the WordPress Plugins page. You'll find it just below Appearance, and you have a few options to see installed plugins, add new plugins, or play with it in an editor. We're not going to talk about that right now. Usually there's a couple of plugins to start with in each new install. In this case, we've got Akismet and Jetpack, both of which come from Automatic, which is the company that owns WordPress. And both are very helpful, so I advise keeping both of them. You can select them and activate them this way, and then they're ready to go. They will both prompt you to activate the account. You really should start by starting an account with WordPress.com, even though you're not going to blog there. In order to connect to Jetpack, which is a nice suite of plugins that are very helpful, you are going to have to start an account with WordPress.com, and they'll connect you, and then from there you can start an Akismet account, and the Akismet will filter out the spam from your site. So both of these are very worthwhile plugins. Before we upload our first plugin, I just wanted to mention that there's a difference between plugins and widgets. And plugins typically go on your page. Widgets typically go on your sidebar, your footer, maybe your header. They both come in through this plugins portal. If it says widgets, you know it's a widget. If it doesn't say widget, you know it's a plugin. So that's just a quick word on the difference between plugins and widgets. So now we are going to search for a new plugin, and it's going to be maintenance mode. And that's going to help us cloak the site from the public while we're building our site. Now, when you look at the plugin page, when they come up in this search, there's a lot of information to take in. I like to look, of course, at the graphics of it. The stars show you how many people have reviewed and how they reviewed the plugin. 4 or 5 stars is good. You also get to see how many installs there are using this plugin, and you also can see when it was last updated. You can tell if it's compatible with your version, and you can look at more details by clicking on that link, and there's a pop-up box that will give you more information. Often changes, and sometimes a pitch for the pro version, and you can look at all the specs here. You can go to their plugin page. You can see who gave it 1 star or how many people gave it 1 star, or you can also check out their support forum to see what kind of problems people had in the past. You can read reviews, the changelog, facts. The plugin I'm looking for is right here, WP Maintenance Mode. I believe it does have some screenshots to look at. Yeah. So this is what I want to see. I want to see what it looks like on the front and the back end. So I'm going to go for this one. There's only 400,000 installs currently. And away we go. And there it is. We're going to activate it. And here it is. So the settings are clearly linked right here, but sometimes it's not so clear where the plugin settings live. Sometimes they're in the settings among all your WordPress settings below the permalinks, and here it is. Here's a link to the maintenance mode. Often you'll see settings below the settings link. You'll find them if they're related to tools in the toolbox, or they might be spread out among the content links in the navigation bar. If it's related to photos, it might be next to media or in the media box, or if it's a post related plugin, it might be among the posts. So it's often tricky to find the settings for the actual plugin. So we're going to the settings page, and we're going to, number one, activate it. And usually the plugins have default settings, so that helps you get going with them right away. You can change the text here on the presentation page, the color. I know. Let's go for a predefined background. Ooh, this one looks good. And we're going to save that setting. And there's some modules that will show you countdown, subscribe, social networks, things like that. That's all good. In order to see your maintenance mode page, you're going to have to log out. And here it is, your maintenance mode page. So when people come to your site while you're working on it, this is what they'll see. It's a little confusing. I think it's a little busy, a little hard to read the text. So that's our first plugin. All right, so I've activated a WordPress.com account and connected it to my site, and now my Jetpack is up. To start with, I have a lot of plugins already activated. The Protect from brute force attacks, data backup, site stats, sharing, publicize. I'm also going to activate Photon, which is a good one for photos, speeding up the display of your photos. And others that I like, I'm going to scroll down and find them on another page. One of them I like is custom CSS. Is really helpful for customizing in the future. There you go. Okay, let's go back. Another one that's very helpful is extra sidebar widgets. So let's configure that. And that will help you here. There's lots of them, lots and lots of plugins that are helpful. If you don't have a responsive theme, then this little mobile theme will help you. Publicize, that's a good one. And that will shoot out your posts to all of your social media that you set up here. So you'll connect it with Facebook, Twitter, etc. The publicize part is for sending your posts to all these social platforms. The sharing part is so that people can share your posts on their platforms. So those are fun. Site stats, yes, we need to configure that. That will show you the stats on your page. right up here under Jetpack, you'll see it says Site Stats, and that'll show you. It's sort of like having Google Analytics on your WordPress page. Let's see, another good one is tiled galleries. There we go. So we'll activate those. Those will make our pictures look pretty. There's lots of them. You can play around with them. They're all solid plugins. Okay, one of the most essential plugins you can install is backup. You need a backup plan because things happen online, and you never want to be stuck without a copy of your site in any number of places where you can access it. All of these plugins are good, and they will they will back your files up not only to your server. They will email the files to you. They will load them in Dropbox for you. They will send them to Google for you, and they're very sophisticated. One I like is Back It Up, WP Back It Up, right here. That's a good one. Another good one is Updraft. Does everything but wash your windows. So find a good backup plugin that you like and back up your site. Okay, the next plugin you absolutely must have is a security plugin, because you would not believe how quickly the hackers will come crashing your gate to get into your site. So one of the first ones I like is the login security solution, and this plugin will keep track of your passwords, and it'll nag you about changing your passwords, and it will alert you when there are brute force attacks on your site, and it'll give you lots of good information about who's trying to break in. The other security plugin I like is All-in-One Security and Firewall. A firewall is, well, it kind of it protects you from hackers. And what I like about this is it's very in-depth, has a lot of different ways to protect your site. Okay, I'm just going to rip right through a whole bunch of plugins that I really like and find essential. One of them is Advanced Image Styles, and all this plugin does is add images, margins, and borders. Believe it or not, WordPress used to do that, but it doesn't anymore. So we need this plugin just for that reason, to add margins and borders to your pictures. Another essential plugin is Broken Link Checker, and what that does is keep tabs on all of your links, and it will tell you if any links are broken, and you can easily go through. You might have to negotiate with it and tell it that that link works, but overall it's very helpful for making sure that your site does not have broken links. Another absolute must-have plugin is Yoast SEO, and what that does is it will control your on-page SEO, and as well as your sitemap. It'll help with analytics and your RSS, among other things. Very valuable, and it really controls a lot of the presentation of your page all over the place. So you really have to get Yoast SEO. Finally, you have to have a cache plugin because it will save a lot of memory on your server, so that people can see your pages faster. And I personally like WP Super Cache. Works very well and keeps my site moving faster. All right, so those are our essential plugins. We'll talk more about them as we work with them. The next thing we're going to do in the next step is to start building our site. So I'll see you then.